The concept of natural law was addressed by the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle, the Roman philosopher Cicero, and even impacted the founding of the United States. It's based on the idea that everyone in society shares the same idea of what constitutes right and wrong, and that everyone wants to live a good and innocent life. That this is the basis of a universal shared morality. Part of natural law involves natural rights, such as those expressed in the United States Declaration of Independence in the first paragraph, written by Thomas Jefferson. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Rob McMullan, welcome to the Other Side Interviews.
Thanks for having me.
There are these universal concepts that are natural laws, and that's a controversial thing for a left-wing thinker or a Marxist who's going to say, well, no. There are many different ways to live. There are many different ideas of values. Different cultures have different values and different beliefs, and that all are equal. And we need to. This seems to be the modern way of thinking, right?
So largely, what people call morality is that their strategy, their evolutionary group strategy, or their acquisition strategy. So we might say this is what's moral, but human beings respond to incentives. If you want a certain behaviour in people, you might say, we'll do this because it's moral.
Yeah.
Whereas almost like a post-moral framework is to gear incentives. We see the world through what we value, which means we see the world through what matters to us, which means we see the world through what helps us acquire status, reproduction, living, thriving.
Okay. So in behavioural psychology, they would simply say we move towards pleasure and away from pain.
That's right.
Right.
Or in like Ayn Rand's,
that's human motivation.
Yeah, or in Ayn Rand's framework, she says, we need to defend the idea of selfishness as opposed to altruism, and that's...
So Ayn Rand, just for those who don't know, is a libertarian thinker from America who grew up in Russia and
that's right.
Suffered under.
And I'm not endorsing that view, but it's just good to paint the picture.
Yep.
I think that's a very low resolution way to put it, but the idea is that everybody has their own incentives. And so when you talk about what's moral, a lot of the time what people are calling morality is their acquisition strategy. The most profitable interaction between people is reciprocal win-win cooperation.
Right.
And that's what the liberal tradition did have right. And the British modern state, you're talking about the Anglo-libertarian thinkers from Britain, is the idea of markets, is because they did have this idea of voluntarism and interacting in a market, and it does create wealth. It does create prosperity. And so once again, to tie this back scientifically, one of the big natural laws that does exist is the idea of entropy. This is getting pretty deep, but I personally find it fascinating.
Yeah, we're up for deep.
We're up for deep. It's not a 10-minute segment, so let's go there.
Right, let's go there.
So inherent in nature is the idea of entropy.
Right.
And it is a force that is always creeping up on us. And so we don't live in a steady state. We need to outrun entropy. We need to stay ahead of it.